Good evening, Queens. Hi, hi, hi. I can see already in the chat, Natural All ID and Hope and Victory. Good evening. Thank you, ladies, for being here. So here I am after canceling last week. As you guys can tell from my voice, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. I'm a bit sick. Last week, my kids were not feeling too well, and you know, as you may know, when you're taking care of those little creatures when they're sick, chances are you're gonna get it. And it was the flu, so they're doing better. But mommy has gotten it essentially, right? So here I am. Today I wanted to really come and do this live because I've been thinking about it since literally we start the month of March. What exactly I wanted to talk about in my live videos during this month. And in March we have the International Women Day, and honestly March for me is the International Woman Month. So I was like, which topic I really wanted to talk about, and it's so funny because I was already thinking of doing this particular live, and Stephanie Perry came 2 weeks ago with her video titled "I'm a 49 years old Black woman with no husband. Here's how I feel my life." And honestly, my video is definitely also in line with her video. But I wanted to really give a bit of perspective, right, of being a single woman in this society, this patriarchal society. So before we jump in, I wanted to first of all thank you for being here. This might not be a long live because, like I said, I'm not feeling too well. I'm coughing a little bit. So if it gets out of control, I'm going to end the live. I do have a glass of water here to help me as I'm going. So hopefully, I'll have a chance to have a great conversation with all of you guys. And also for me, when we talk about patriarchal society, it's really, and it's debatable. People will be like, a lot of things have changed since the past, I don't know, 40, 50 years. Things are not the same. Women have more right today. And I do not disagree with that at all. However, we do also know that there is still a lot to be done. So I say, and I stand by my word by saying that we still live in a patriarchal society. And when I talk about patriarchal society, for me, just so we are sure that we're talking about the same thing, but a patriarchal society for me is really like a social, system where the power and authority are predominantly held by men. So really, you will see men as the head of the family, the one who are the decision maker, the money maker, and more like the primary breadwinners, while the women are more in a support roles, like as caregivers, homemakers, the one that are supporting the males in what they're doing. And I'm not saying that, if there is a woman out there who has decided that that's fine for her, that's fine. But what I'm saying is essentially when you're living in a society that is predominantly uh, shaped like that, when you find yourself in a situation where you don't really fit in that type of society, there are challenges. There are, advantages, and there are also challenges. And so that's really what I want to talk about tonight. And so, as I'm going through this, feel free to share in the chat how this is landing with you, your own perspective. I don't think there is any right or wrong. Everybody has their own background and the way they see things. And I'm gonna be using, some examples, my own examples as I'm going through it, and examples from other people that I've known. And so, before I jump into it, if you're new here and you're like, who is that girl talking? My name is Sam. I'm the host of the Black Women Build Wealth YouTube channel, and I'm also the creator of the Black Women Build Wealth Summit, which is happening in November this year. The date is to be confirmed. And I love helping Black women get the money. Get the money right, so then they can live the life that they desire. In short a short way of saying it, I am a money coach. I love investing. That's my jam. Most of my customers that I actually coach is in regard to investing, helping them start their investing journey and keep at it. And I also do what you can call like a bit of financial therapy. So really helping people with their emotions that are linked to money. So that's really me. But today I'm not talking so much about money. Of course, there will be about a bit of money, but what I wanted to talk about is thriving in a patriarchal society as a single woman. And for me, I'm saying single woman, black, white, Asian, but and whether she has kids or no, but really as a single woman. So I'm going to start with the advantages. So first of all, I personally don't think that anyone decide to be single. Maybe there's some people who made the decision to be single uh, after maybe trying the right way of doing things. But at the end of the day, it's really you know for me, whether you're a couple or single, it's just what it is. It's not bad, it's not wrong, it's just what it is. That's where you are at that point in your life. So the first thing, so I'm going to start with the advantages of being a single woman in this society. The first thing, and I love it, is really the fact that you get to make the decision yourself as an independent person. You do not have to be checking with someone if they're okay. You do not have to be compromising. Whatever you want to do, you make the decision and then you go ahead and you do it. So you have a sense of freedom that really comes with that. Because at the end of the day, and even if it's not like in a couple situation, even with family members or friends, as soon as you have to check with anyone else to do what you want to do, then sometimes you might have to compromise. And when you're a single person, when you're not in a couple situation, uh, you have that opportunity to be like, listen, I guess, I'm just going to take that 3 months break from work and I'm just going to go to Europe, right? You don't have to check with anyone. You don't have to be trying to convince anyone. You don't have to be patient for someone to change their mind or anything like that. You just make the decision, you plan your thing and you go. That's what it is. So that's the first one. The second advantage that I personally see, and I'll say in my adult life, I have been more single than couple. I'm just gonna put it out there. So I've had a lot of practice at this. In a way, I've had a lot of practice at this, being single, and again, I don't think it was. I can maybe sometimes it was a choice because, of course, yeah, I can decide to be in a relationship with anyone and everyone, but I make that decision knowing that essentially I will be by myself, making a lot of decisions on my own. So the second thing that definitely for me as a single woman you can do to thrive in this patriarchal society is that you have that time to discover yourself, who you are. You have that space. You have that time to really explore your passion, things that you like, things you don't like, the creative side of you. You have that possibility, that opportunity, and to me, it is golden in this day and age where honestly our attention is like in so many places, and you have that possibility of being by yourself with your emotions, your thought, how your body is reacting to things, and being able to process things by yourself without the influence of anyone. I honestly think that it is important. And I'm just going to give even an example that um, again, money related when it comes to investment. So I do coach black women. Not all of the black women that I coach are single. Actually, a good portion of them are married. But when they come to the coaching, they come by themselves because they want to learn themselves, like know who they are as an investor, who they are when it comes to managing their money. Not so much in the, and I'm not saying that doing it in the, definitely you have the part that you have to do as a couple, but I do believe that you have the part that you have to do as a person, like you knowing yourself first, so then when you're in that couple situation, it is a way of making the whole complete, right? Not that the person's gonna make you, like I like to say, but that the person's gonna complete you. And so, uh, Yeah, like Open Victory is saying it, as a single woman, you have that opportunity to know yourself better. And I can't agree more, because you really have that space to get to know yourself, right? So this is really the second advantage for me. And it's really maybe sometimes something that we underrate. And sometimes when you find out ourselves in a single situation, we more focus on, oh my god, I need to do this and get out there, get out there, and meet someone, and being in a couple situation, when really we'll be like, we just need to be like, okay, right now I'm by myself. What does Sam really want to do? And she can get to do, uh, to really know herself better, right? So this is really an opportunity to do an introspection, and really just like being able to grow. And honestly, the final product of this is going to be a better version of yourself. And guess what? That partner, when they come along, it's a plus for them, right? So that's what it is. So that's the second thing. The third thing that I have here is career advancement. Honestly, I've been in situation at work so many times, and I used to work in a environment where people will get, sometimes they'll get opportunity to work for the company overseas, and I've seen people declining uh, opportunities because their significant other did not want to go. That person did not want to go, whether it was for because the kids are too young, because family is here, because my life is here, because my job is here. What am I gonna do? They ended up declining. And to me, seeing that, it was heartbreaking, right? Because you're like, this is an opportunity in your career that you're going to be missing, because the other person doesn't agree. And I'm not saying that the other person is wrong, but I'm saying that when you're in that, so that mindset, and being in that couple situation where essentially you know you get driven more by what the man is saying, you can miss on opportunities. And yes, most of them actually are women. And one thing that I will actually highlight here. So when I was saying that people will have opportunity to travel, I really feel like when it was the men, they were more assertive about it, and kind of like, you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna find a way to make it happen. But the women were more hesitant. Okay, well, we probably need to do this, and I'll have to, kind of like trying to see how to make it happen. And this is something that definitely, as women in general, we need to improve in being able to um, communicate in a more assertive way, and be like, yeah, I'm gonna make this happen, and just go and get it, and make it happen. So, um, oh, hi, Mona. Okay, so let's see here. I love that you guys are sharing in the chat, by the way. So I'm not talking to myself. One of the best benefit of being single to me is that I'm super confident in my ability to take care of myself and my daughter. So important. So, as you guys know, I have three young kids, and I'm gonna deviate a little bit from my plan here. But that's the thing, right? Because you have the layer of the single woman, and then the additional layer of having kids as a single woman. And this society, the way it is structured, it's not conducive to that. So you find yourself in a position where, honestly, sometimes you almost have to not just, well, I guess, yeah, justify or explain. And this is something that even myself, I need to get better at, right? So because sometimes people, they take you a bit off guard with their questions. But I do agree with Mona here, is that when you put in that situation, it's like sink or swim, swim or sink, essentially. And you're like, mm-mm, this is not going to happen. This might not be made for me, but I'm going to actually uh, fight it, and live the life that I want. So definitely the confidence aspect of being a single woman navigating this world, this patriarchal society, is very important. And I'm even gonna add that, for us women, it doesn't come naturally. Very rarely it comes to women, that level of confidence. We need to work on it. We need to stick with it. because that's just the only way that we're going to be able to make it through. So thank you, Mona, for sharing this. So music fever here, learning to be okay, being on my own made me know myself better. 100%. 100%. And I like to say there's a difference between being alone, or like being single, and being lonely. It's not it's not because you're single and alone that it means that you're lonely. And sometimes people, there is almost like, I don't know if it's kind of like a way of saying thing that, it's almost like, oh, well, when you like to keep to yourself and do your thing, it's not really seen the in the best way, versus like, you want always wanting to go out and being around things. That's like, I guess, the more acceptable. But you know what? To each its own. And I totally agree. The growth is going to come from really you taking that time to sit with yourself. And you have to wonder sometimes why you always have to have people around. Is it that you're trying something that you're trying to avoid, like really not being by yourself? So when you're single, when you find yourself in a single, being a single person, it, yeah, I guess it forces you to really come to that point. And at the end of the day, you get to really know yourself better. So thank you for that. One more comment here. Hey, Marissa, nice to see you here. I love that more women are talking about the benefits of being single. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about it because, listen, first of all, if we don't talk about it, then you have other women out there who think that they're weird. And actually, let's say we are weird. Embrace your weird. What's wrong with being weird? Right? Who wants to be normal? You don't achieve anything by being normal. That's what it is. Make your own path and make it happen. So being single is not, sometimes we talk about, like, I've been in situation talking to people that I'm single, and then they'll be like, why? And I'm like, what do you mean why? Is that even a question to ask someone? Like, why are you single? Never ever you're gonna meet someone and that person will say, I'm married, and you're gonna ask them why. So why are you asking me why I'm single? And that question took me off guard so much. And I was just like, and then I'm like, because I haven't met the right person. I'm just gonna not just gonna be in a relationship for the sake of it. I'm just gonna wait for the person that God has put on earth for me. And that might be when I'm in my 50s, in my 60s, my 70s, my 80s. Listen, I'll take it. I will take it, right? So thank you, Marissa, for that comment. And you know what? Even if this video is inspiring another single woman out there to be more comfortable in her skin because she's a single woman, whatever age she's at, nothing wrong with you. You are totally fine. Embrace it, love it, do your own thing. Just, and be ready. If really at one point you want to be in a relationship, go at it, go for it. And if you don't want, then don't do it. But one thing that Stephanie really highlighted in her video that I really like, she's like, yes, I'm 49. I've never been married. But listen, I'm enjoying my life. And here's the question. And especially in this society where it's almost like by a certain age as a woman, you need to be married, you need to have kids and get the house and get the car. But here's the question at the end of the day, why are we here on earth? As far as I'm concerned, it's not to be collecting things and the house. Yes, it's nice. It's important, it's vital. But at the end of our life, I honestly don't think, and even in reference to that book that the hospice nurse wrote, the five I think regrets of the dying people, none of them were saying, I wish that I would have bought the bigger house and the bigger car and all of those things. Most of us, what we want is really happiness, right? It's really happiness. I do believe that that's what most of the people want. And that happiness can be you being single or you being married. So don't fall for the no, I guess, so-called norm out there that you need to be in a relationship or being with someone or whatnot uh, to be happy. You can make it happen as a single woman. Is it harder? Yes, we're gonna talk about it when we talk about the challenges, because there are challenges at the end of the day, right? Like when you decide to be uh, as you know, in the words of George Camel from Dave Ramsey, like, when you decide to be like a crockpot in the world of microwave, that's what it is. It's gonna take work because everybody is a microwave, and you decide I'm gonna be a crockpot. I'm gonna take my time. Well, it's going to be challenging, but doesn't mean that it's impossible. Okay, so definitely, I'm hoping that I'm helping normalize this discussion of being single, because I really want more women to be comfortable with that and not be rushing. We have all, I've been in that position too. How come I'm still single? Let me do this and let me do that and all that, just to find out that at the end of the day, my happiness doesn't mean that I have to be with someone. I can make it happen on my own. And when I meet that person, we will make it happen together. Okay. So the other thing that I wanted to mention, of the benefits, I'm going to end here: empowerment and resilience. And we talked about it a little bit when Mona mentioned confidence. The resilience part, when you're a single woman, that muscle, you're gonna build it so quick. You have to build it. If not, you're going to be crushed. This society is gonna crush you as a single woman if you cannot build your resilience muscle. That's what it is, right? Because the way things are done, the way things are structured, is not for you to win. I'm sorry to say that, but it's not for any single woman to win in this society the way we know it. And keep in mind that we are in, like, at least in North America, in a culture that is the most advanced. That means it's even harder for, let's say, developing countries. And I was born and raised in a developing country, and I saw that and I was just like, that will never happen to me. I will make sure that I'm in a position of strength, that I'm not in a position of weakness, because I've seen what happened to women when they don't pay attention to um, their own worth. Like, just really making sure that they stand by themselves on their feet. And here's the thing: this society tells lies to women. When I was growing up as a little girl, the thing is, like, you're gonna meet someone who's gonna take care of you. Maybe less in my generation, but in my parent generation, that was the thing. You're gonna meet a husband who's gonna take you in, with his family, and then take care of you financially and all that. That is good when things go well. But then when things fall apart, who's the one who's losing in this equation? Well, it's the woman. And a lot of women have found themselves, alone, having to go back to their family with or without the kids that they had with the man. And I saw that growing up. And I'm like, never, ever, ever, ever I'll let that happen to me. Right? Still knowing that, if, eventually I want to get married. And so, and I'm hoping it's changing now. I'm really hoping it's changing now, because even the stories that we were told, like, bedtime stories or whatever, it's always like, the little Prince Charming who find, get to marry the little girl from here, and then she becomes a princess, and blah 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 blah. How many books have you read where there were like strong single women doing their things? And I remember when I was in college, only one of my girlfriends, good, like, close friends, had a single mother. All of us, was like, I guess, normal parent structure, dad and mother. Only one of my best friend, and I used to be so in admiration of that woman. Like, she would come on her bike, pick up my friend, and then, pick her up, drop her in the morning, pick her up after. You could see that she was doing her own thing. And that, I'll always remember that, because I'm kind of like in the situation now, right? I'm just in the same situation like her, as a single woman with kids. So the resilience part, we need to build that, definitely. um and then the last thing is community. As a single woman, important for us to build community. And it's honestly, is I put that as an advantage because, and Stephanie also speaks to that in her video, maybe to a certain extent. But sometimes when you're in a relationship, you forget about building community, that community of other women who that are going to be there with you to hard times and good times. Those are the ones that are going to be the constant and that are going to stay there, whether you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship. And sometimes, as women, the fact that we tend to really, when we're in a relationship, give ourselves to our partner, to our kids, to their family, and all of those things, and we tend to forget about ourselves, and we tend to forget about our own community, our own people. And I've been in a situation like that where, like, good friends, as soon as they're like in a relationship, you don't exist anymore, and then the relationship falls apart, and then they remember you. And then at one point you get tired. You're like, listen, I'm not no plan C or no plan D for nobody here, right? So very important as a single woman to build that community and really nurture it. And even if you get into a relationship, still keep the community, because that will really help you, throughout your life, regardless of your social status, right? Um, yeah. So really, for me, those are kind of like the advantages. And the community for me, it's finding Black women who are into what I'm also interested into, like financial independence, parenting, single parenting kids, traveling, moving abroad. The Exodus Summit community, as we know, it's like Black women taking sabbaticals, career breaks, and all that. And I have met amazing women through that community. As a matter of fact, quite a few of them are today in the chat, and I've actually got to know them through the Exodus Summit community. And a lot of them I haven't met them in person, but we come across each other on our YouTube channels, maybe on Facebook, during the summit, all of those things, and I know who's who and who's doing what in which space, and all right. And I'm not saying all of those women are married, are single. Some of them are married, but still they're taking the time to build and maintain that community of Black women, and that's what is really important here to keep in mind. Very important for single women. I would say important for any woman, to be quite honest, to build that community. So now let's go to challenges, because yeah, there are challenges. I'm gonna start with money. Money. So I was looking at some stats, and they say the net worth of a single person is around 67,000. That's from 2019. However, the net worth of a couple is around 400,000, right? That will make you want to marry someone quick. But, you know, that's just the reality of things, right? When you're a single woman, huh, all of your expenses, you have that income, and then you need to pay for all of the expenses on your own, your rent, your transportation, your food. You don't get to share that with anyone. But of course, when you're when you couple, each person, ideally, each person will have their own salary. Sorry, each person will have their own salary, but then the expenses you get to share it. And honestly, it's a great way to build wealth, right? Because it's not it's a way of really sharing the cost. Meanwhile, you have like two incomes coming into the the house, into the house. And so it is a reality, and we have all heard of stories of women staying in relationship mainly because of the money part of it, because they cannot sustain themselves, if they were to be single. So they know this relationship is not serving them, but they decide to stay in that relationship because they know that once everything is said and done, they cannot pay their own bills by themselves and still being able to live. And so you don't want to be in that situation 100%. But that's a disadvantage. And so the way you want to address that is that you want to tackle it early and making sure you never ever find yourself in that situation. Again, it just, the same way that I did, I talked about making sure that you can stand on your feet by yourself. So when you find that partner, they're going to complete you. The money part is very important. You don't want to find yourself like in a desperate situation and having to jump into a relationship because the guy is going to be the one providing, right? Because he's there today, he might not be there tomorrow, or she's there today, she might not be there tomorrow. So very, very, very important. But yeah, it is a disadvantage. And I can understand that maybe sometimes some women will decide to be in a relationship that's not serving them just so they can make ends meet. But as you're in that relationship, then try to work on yourself, trying to improve yourself, get that. No, I don't know if it's just additional education, and go get that improve your income, so then you can find yourself in a position where you can leave if you want. So then you're not staying there forever. You're staying there just for a certain period of time. Thank you for sharing here, Mona. Being part of a couple has tremendous value. 100%. It makes me so mad when I hear married women say they feel like single mom. It just shows that they have no idea what it takes to be a single parent. Yeah, yeah, I've heard some comments like that. Sometimes I'm not sure. I feel like sometimes people feel like they want to show you some empathy in what you're going through, and sometimes it doesn't come the right way. I give them grace, and I just let it go. But 100%, it's something that being in a couple. I'm not here, like I say, to say that all women should be single. There is value in being in a couple. But the thing is, this patriarchal society, has only shown us that's the only way. When really now we're realizing that that's not the only way. There are other ways. Yes, I can be single and still thrive and still win, navigate this society, and live the life that I want. And for me, to be here and talk about that, I want even younger uh, women to hear that, because it's important. I don't want them to feel like I need to be in this relationship to be able to like prosper, or build my wealth. That's not true. Is it going to be harder? 100% yes, because that's just the way it is. And again, I'm going to finish on the money part. And while I'm saying this is a patriarchal society, same in Canada and the US, when we look at the tax laws, it does favor couples. That's just what it is. And it does favor couples with kids. So if you're a single person, guess what? You're paying a boatload of taxes compared to people, married couples. Of course, it depends which income we're talking about. But when we take the same level of income, you're paying a boatload of taxes. There are so many tax laws that actually advantage married people. Like, here in Canada, as the husband can decide to contribute to his wife RSP, which is I believe the 401k for you guys, or the IRA. I'm not 100% sure, and get the tax rebates. While when you're single, you don't have that option. There is nobody that you can do that transaction with. You're just on your own, and so you're paying a boatload of taxes as a single person, right? And so when you look at the percentage of married people and single, right now, half of the population, adult population in the US, is married. That means that the remaining half of the population is single, never been married, widowed people, divorced people. But the laws they haven't caught up. They haven't caught up, right? Because right now the laws are still favoring the 50% who are married. How about the other 50% who are not married? Just to give an example, as you guys know, my twin just started daycare, and I'm paying so much money in daycare And I'm like, listen, this is one income being divided in so many things. It's not sustainable. You have made daycare expensive. You have made this expensive, and I have to live with that at my level of income. There is no way that I can. What do I do? I have to pay daycare, and I'm not gonna put my kids in a crappy daycare just to pay less money. You know, so maybe they could have had some sort of like law to say if you're a single parent, you get you get priority at some daycares, and you have some sort of subsidy, something like that, because not everybody is in a relationship, and can't afford the daycare. On top of that, for me, I have two a daycare. I don't do things little. I don't do things little. Like, I just go big. Oh, sorry, Mona. I know. She's like, taxes are my trigger. Girl, taxes. We're not gonna get started, but 100%. So just to say, as a single person, you pay more taxes. So, moving on to the next disadvantage, the social part. Be ready. Like I say, someone asked me one day, they're like, "Oh, are you married? Are you single?" And I say, "I'm single." And they're like, "Why?" Like, dude, what kind of question is that? So be ready in social setting um, to be judged. That's what it is, to be judged as a single person, single woman of a certain age. Something must be wrong with you. If you're like in your 30s, 40s, and you got no man or you got no woman, you're single, something must be wrong with you. Or maybe you're too complicated, you have too many criteria, or maybe this, or maybe that, right? So you have to have that backbone and be firm and be like, and being able to push back, right? Another, example of social pressure, right? One of my good friend, at one point she was living with her parent, single woman. She was living with her parents. She was in her mid 30s, and she will go on dates. And as soon as she will tell, like, those men that she was living with her parent, automatically for them it's like, oh, okay, how can you be in your mid 30s living with your parent? I'm like, she's saving money. She doesn't want to pay mortgage. She doesn't want to pay rent. She gets along with her parent. Why not? For me, as like, my in my head as a money person, I'm like, this is such a great idea, right? Her parents were not making her pay rent. She was not paying groceries. She was contributing because she felt bad not contributing, but she was able to save so much money and then got her own place and put a large down payment. She wouldn't have been able to do that had she said, "Oh, I'm in my mid 30s. I'm just gonna go and get my own apartment because, just for what? Just for some guy to be like, yeah, I want to marry you." No, if you can't marry me when I'm living with my parents, chances are you can't marry me when I'm living by myself. Something is not computing, right? So if you're gonna judge me because I'm staying with my parents, being a single person, and you're not seeing the advantage of that, the plus of that, and then you're gonna say, oh well, if you're in your mid 30s living with your parents, something must be wrong with you. That's the thing, right? If you get to a certain age, uh, sorry, if you get to a certain age, or and then you haven't met those milestones that this society say you should be meeting, you should be hitting, something must be wrong with you, really. Anyway, so yeah, the social aspect, and I'll say the social aspect is gonna actually hit you the most, right? Because I mean, the money aspect, you're the one feeling it, right? If you don't tell people, people don't know. But the social aspect, except if you're like an hermit and you never go out, you never deal with anyone, whatnot, the social aspect, the comments, the judgment, that's what's gonna hit you the most. Fear not, stand strong, and be like, and so what? Love me or leave me alone, right? Love me or leave me alone. So, and this is me after so many years of working on this. And I'm still a work in progress at time, because I'm telling you, usually it will hit you at the moment you expect it the least. People asking me, but who's the dad? What do you care? Right? So anyway, um, let's see here, Mona. There is a childcare subsidy in the US, but they require you to be poor. If you make a livable, yeah, a livable wage, you are, yeah, 100%. You're at a huge disadvantage. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing of being middle class. I consider myself middle class. I make a decent salary. But listen, the way my bills are right now, and luckily, thanks God, every day I thank God that I was really responsible with my money early on, that I started investing very early. Because right now I don't need to drop any penny in my retirement, but I know that when I retire, I'll have plenty of money. And that is because I started investing early and that I was consistent. Because if I had to start my investing journey now, well, I guess Sam is not retiring. Or Sam's gonna have to rely on her kids to retire. Because there is no way right now that I could invest at the level that I was investing before the kids. And so, as a single person, those are the things also that you need to keep in mind because your situation may change down the road. Don't delay, don't sleep on your laurels. Do what you need to do to stay in a good position. I don't care about investing right now for myself because I know that I've done what I needed to do before the kids. So now I can really focus on paying the daycare and paying the diapers and the formula and see my money just like go, go, go. But yeah, that's the thing. The tax breaks is not for us people making decent money. We're not making, the millions, but we're not also making like, the 10 or $20,000 a year. We're making decent money, even in the six figures, and you're still gonna feel it, especially in this day and age. You're still gonna feel it, but you don't get any break for that. There is no break, right? So anyway, so again, a bit of the money aspect here. Uh, the last thing I wanted to mention in terms of disadvantage of being single woman is that you might find yourself isolated, and that's I guess social part B. You might find yourself isolated, and I'm saying that because all of us have had a group of friends, and then at one point people start getting married and having families, and slowly but surely you don't see them anymore, rightfully so. Sometimes but there's some people who are like, really, my life has changed and I can't hang out with single people anymore. My husband doesn't want me to hang out with single women because single women, I guess, do things that married women 100% should not be doing. But that doesn't mean that because you're hanging out with single women that automatically as a married person you're gonna do it, right? So anyway, so be ready to be isolated socially, and and that's why comes again the importance of having that community, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where people who were like your support system disappear, right? So uh, but again, I think the most important, even before the community, is really the work you're doing on yourself. You have to be comfortable with yourself, with things that are happening to you, where you are right now. And the community is going to be a plus to that. And whatever is going to come, it's going to be a plus to that. The relationship is going to be a plus to that. So then if things fall apart, you're not in shambles, you're not down the ground crying and, wanting to not do anything anymore. You might have that, you might do that for a little bit, but you're not staying there. It's okay to fall, but not to stay on the ground, right? So all of that work, introspection that you're going to be doing as a single person, very important. And sometimes we don't realize the how it's really helping us until we need it. And so that's where you really see the value of being a single woman and being able to focus on yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And one thing that sometimes people do, again, society, social aspect, they think that because you're a single person, and I used to have that a lot when I was a single woman, especially in the work environment, because you're a single person, you can do the overtime. you can pick up for someone because, and I'm like, no, I'm single, yeah, but that doesn't mean that I'm here to be working overtime because, I understand that they have family, they have young kids. But what does that have to do with me? And I'm not saying that because I'm selfish or anything, but why do I have to be picking up the slack all the time? Because so and so, like, yeah, we know that, nobody's waiting for you at home. So you might as well. No, it doesn't work like that. So stand firm and don't hesitate to push back and stand in your truth. That's really what it is. So, you know, I went through my list. So where does that leave us now? Um, is there is there a place for single women in this society? How can we improve the perception of how the society sees being a single woman? And I insist on the single woman because people are like, oh, whatever you said also applied to a single person. And yes and no, because I really feel like being a single woman in this society, it sometimes is treated as a crime. It's really treated as a crime sometimes when you have having conversation. And the worst is like when you say, well, that's really where I'm at right now and I'm comfortable with that. And people sometimes ask me, are you gonna start dating again? And I'm like, listen, where I'm at right now, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not thinking about that. Like if I end up meeting the guy, well, that'll be coincidence at this point. But I'm not intentional about that. I don't even have the space in my brain. I'm not letting that, have any rent in my head. So and they're like, oh, you know, you're not getting any younger. I'm like, yes, I know that. But that doesn't do anything to me, right? So just to end on this live, and again, feel free. I know I've shared quite a bit. Maybe it was not as organized as the way I wanted, but I really wanted to make sure to do this live for all of the reasons that I've said. And this video will stay for the replays. By the way, if you have been enjoying this, make sure to hit the like. And if you know anyone in your life that could really benefit from listening to this video or to Stephanie Perez's video, definitely share with that person. Uh, because I really wanted to remove that shame aspect. I feel there is like a shame aspect of being a single woman in this society, right? It's like you did not make it. You didn't you didn't make it. You didn't make it to marriage. And for those, who decided that they don't want kids, or maybe they want kids, but they really wanted to have it in a relationship, you still didn't make it. So then what's your value? What are you bringing to this society? Right? Intense, intense. Listen, your worth is not determined by your social status. The day you were born, you have worth. That's what it is. God gave you worth by bringing you on this earth. Whether you're married, single, woman, man with kids, no kids, doesn't matter. It does not matter. So for us single women, let's enjoy it. Enjoy it. Because I almost feel like, it's gonna become something that is going to be very bougie. And I go, oh yeah, I'm single. And sometimes people don't want to say it or they feel bad saying it. But no, yes, I'm single. Right? Nobody's paying your bills. You're fine. You're fine. So yeah, thank you so much. I think, I'm coming almost to an hour here. I'm super happy that I was able to be here and chat with you. And let me know in the comments of the video in case something has come. And for those of us who are single, share in the comments how really navigating this patriarchal society has influenced you, things you have done to improve, to fight back and improve yourself, and being able to be more resilient. Because I bet you someone's gonna read your comments and get inspired from that, and that's what we want. We want to we really want to make sure that we are actually sowing the seeds of inspiration for other women out there who are single, and just be like, listen, You are fine. You are totally fine. And if someone says something negative about you being single, love me or leave me alone. That's what it is. So I'll leave you on that. Thank you again for coming here and watching. Thank you for your patience as I needed to reschedule this live. And I'm hoping to do maybe one more live before the month of March ends. But if I don't get to it, listen, I'm super happy, super grateful that I was able to do this live because that was really the one that I had in my mind that I really wanted to share with you. Yeah, I hope that landed well. Landed well with you. Thank you so much, Natural ID, sending positive energy of resilience, empowerment, and community for single and all Black women. Blessing. Yeah, good night, and have a great rest of your week. And until next time, Queens, keep on building wealth. Bye.